ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಆರಾಧ್ಯ ದೇವರಾಗಿರುವ ಶ್ರೀ ಶರಣ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಕ್ತಿಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಮಸ್ಕರಿಸಿ, ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅವರ ಆ ದಾಸೋಹ ಶ್ರೀ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಮೋ ಎಂದು ಶರಣ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನದ ಮಹಾದಾಸೋಹ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿಗಳಾಗಿರುವ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣ ಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಘನ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮತ್ತು ಅಪ್ಪಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೋರಿ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಮಹಾದಾಸೋಹ ಮನೆಯ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಮಾತೆ ದಾಕ್ಷಾಯಿಣಿ ತಾಯಿಯವರ ಶ್ರೀ ಚರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಶರಣೆಂದು, ಭಾವಿ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅವರ ಪಾದ ಪದ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ನತಮಸ್ತಕನಾಗಿ ಅಖಿಲ ಭಾರತ ಶಿವಾನುಭವ ಮಂಟಪ ಶರಣ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರಾವಣ ಮಾಸದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಜರುಗಿದ ಈ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವು ಅನೇಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಪುರಾಣವನ್ನು ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಸಂಗೀತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಈ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲಿಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶ್ರಾವಣ ಮಾಸ ಮುಗಿದ ನಂತರ, ಪುರಾಣ ಮಂಗಳ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಏನು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲಿಕೆ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣ ಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಶಿವಜೀವನ ಕುರಿತಾದಂಥ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲಿಕೆ. ಈ ಸರಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂದು ಶರಣ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಹಾವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪ್ರಾಚಾರ್ಯರಾಗಿರುವ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್.ಜಿ. ಡೊಳ್ಳೆಗೌಡರ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣ ಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಮಂಡಿಸಲೆಂದು ಆಗಮಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಖಿಲ ಭಾರತ ಶಿವಾನುಭವ ಮಂಟಪದಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್.ಜಿ. ಡೊಳ್ಳೆಗೌಡ ಸರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂತಹ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಲಿಕೆಯ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆಯ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನೀಲಾಂಬಿಕಾ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂತಹ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಅನೇಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇದು ಈ ಯುಗನೇ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದು ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರ ಯುಗ ಇದು. ಈ ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳ ಪಾತ್ರ ಬಹಳ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದದ್ದು. ತಾವು ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಅನೇಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಶರಣ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಹಾವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪ್ರಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಮತ್ತು ಅಖಿಲ ಭಾರತ ಶಿವಾನುಭವ ಮಂಟಪದ ಸಕ್ರಿಯ ಸದಸ್ಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರಾಗಿರುವ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್.ಜಿ. ಡೊಳ್ಳೆಗೌಡರ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದಂತಹ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಮಂಡಿಸಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿಷಯ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣ ಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸೇವೆ. ಈಗ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್.ಜಿ. ಡೊಳ್ಳೆಗೌಡ ಸರ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಬೇಕೆಂದು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ವಿನಂತಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್.
First of all,
ಮೈಕ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ.
First of all, I pay my pranamas at the lotus feet of His Holiness Pujya Appaji, the great saint and poet and educationist and a great humanitarian.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೌಂಡ್ ನೋಡುತ್ತೆ.
And above all, a man who has dedicated his soul for the cause of the society. I also pay my pranamas at the lotus feet of Appaji and the 9th Pithadipati, Pujya Sri Chiranjeevi Dodappaji, and all the successors. We all have known and experienced what the Sharanabhishweshwara Samsthana stands for and what it has done for more than 200 years and how it has been socially relevant and how it has been spiritually eminent in this part of the country. We all know that India is a country blessed immensely by great saints, sages, educationists, social reformers, philanthropists. In the 21st century, the later part of 20th century and the early part of 21st century, Pujya Appaji happens to be an eminent personality who has rendered service to different dimensions of the society. However, today I have been asked to reflect upon his contribution to the society, especially social service. Of course, when we look at the world scenario, be it from the days of Buddha or Ashoka, or to the days of freedom struggle spearheaded by Mahatma Gandhi, or to the 21st or later 20th century Bodhana movement, you see how humanity has been able to lift itself, how humanity has been able to help itself through these great personalities. There are scholars, there are great sages who have left an indelible mark in different spheres, be it social service, be it medical service, be it political field, be it economics. In every sphere, we find people of great eminence having served the cause of the society. If you look at political sphere, you come across the great soul of this great nation, Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Patel, and his band of patriots. The same can be extended here, Puja Dodappa Appaji and his teenage son, Puja, the present 8th Mahadasul Pitadipati, His Holiness Puja Dr. Sharanabhishweshwara Appaji, have rendered great and invaluable service to the society. Now, it is very difficult to express in terms of words what closest contribution Puja Appaji has made to the society. But at the same time, especially me being in this organization for the last 36 years, I had a privilege and honor to grow, to witness his immense contribution to the society from different spheres. Be it, of course, he stands very tall as far as the education is concerned in this part of the country, but along with his education services, his contribution to literature, his contribution to art, his contribution to music, his contribution to literature, his contribution to the social service are greatly acknowledged by one and all. It is very difficult to make a worded compartment, as here is a great stalwart in this part of the country who has stood the test of the times right from childhood till this day. Now he is almost completing 86 springs of his life, but the kind of energy, the kind of commitment, the kind of concern, the kind of care, the kind of zeal that he has got for the society cannot be measured in terms of words. His madness for social service can be felt and experienced because one who has committed deeply to the upliftment of people of this region. It reflects what a great soul he is. Because when we look at his works for all these years, they clearly indicate 24 into 7, barring his personal life. He is always there in the forefront to extend his best to the society. Here is a man who has been able to understand what the pulse of the society is, what are the needs of the society, how society can be built, how society can be nurtured, how society can be taken care of. No doubt, he has, over the decades, with the great legacy of his ancestors and his great heirs, has been continuing all that the great Lord Sambhaseshwara did, but he has added much more than what his ancestors have done. His contribution to society would be immense. Remember, when we look at the service, I would say, is a finest opportunity for anyone to immortalize oneself. Of course, his contribution to the society as far as social service is concerned, as I told earlier, he stands very tall as far as educational aspects are concerned. But today, deliberately, consciously, I'm not going to touch upon his educational contribution, as has already been spoken about it yesterday by another speaker. But remember, it is well said that as we lose ourselves in service of others, we discover our own lives and our own happiness. This is what Apache stands for. When we engross ourselves in the service of others, there reveals our true identity. There reveals our true existence. There reveals our true happiness. Whether it is our existence or our living or happiness, it is truly reflected when we serve the society. Therefore, when we do or undertake these small acts, when multiple by millions of people can transform the world. See, when an act is emulated by one gentleman, when an act is carried on by Puja Pasi, if it is replicated, if it is emulated, if it is copied, even you can say, by millions of people, how wonderful this world would be. That is the beauty of the social service. Even our great, the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi once said, the best way to lose yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. See, the above thought has been reframed by Gandhiji in different phraseology and has been expressed here in these terms. The best way to lose yourself. Of course, as Shakespeare said that cowards die many times before their death. But great people live, continue to live even after they depart from this mortal life. That's the beauty of service. That's the beauty of contribution. So, it is always better to be remembered if you act like a candle, because candle is always remembered when there is a darkness. Therefore, many people approach His Holiness Puja Pasi. I have closely observed thousands of devotees, thousands of students, thousands of citizens, lakhs of devotees across the state and neighboring states do visit him, come to his spiritual audience, interact with him, discourse with him, find out their own ways as to how to be meaningful and how to render service to the society in their own way. And the society, the Sangha, the Samsthana, and the lives of all these pontiffs, all the 8 pontiffs, is a testimony to what service is. Service, social service, cannot be simply expressed in terms of words. Social service cannot be simply expressed in terms of words. We can witness what social service is. Though rendering of social service has a different connotation, but here is an institution, though it has rendered social service, but it has rendered it on the bedrock of spirituality, on the bedrock of spiritualism. See, here is an institution, the Samsthana, which has preached and practiced what society should get from these illustrious sons of this great Samsthana. Because, as I told you earlier, the incredible realm in service to others is the true existence. Because ordinary people serve and feed, but people like Sharanabaseshwara, who is elevated to the divinity, who is incarnated as an embodiment of God, have left their own legacy. It's not because just they did their service for the sake of some schemes, for the sake of some rewards. In fact, I am not touching today on the spiritual aspects from Lord Sharanabaseshwara. Though there is a great history as far as service of this great samsthana is concerned, but I am confining myself to some of the spiritual aspects which Appaji has stood for. And it is said that God has given us two hands. One hand is for us, the other hand is for others. When one hand is for us, fine, you have to take care of yourself. You cannot deny your rights. You cannot deny your existence unless you exist in your body, in your mind, in your soul. You cannot think of extending the same service to others. Whereas on the contrary, the other hand should be stood for, the other hand should be meant for, the other hand should be totally dedicated for the service of others. Therefore, if that is the case, in case of Pujya Appaji and all his pontiffs, successors, both hands were meant for social service. That is the beauty of this great samsthana. I would like to quote a beautiful statement made by Rabindranath Tagore, the great poet of this land. What he said, he says, I slept and dreamt that life was joy. Look at this statement. I slept and dreamt. Dreaming, sleeping is quite common for all the people. And what was it that he got in his dream? He got that he was very happy. There was a joy. There was a full of joy in his life. But I awoke and saw that life was service. When the realization dawns on Rabindranath Tagore, when he got up, it's not merely getting up from his sleeps. When he got realization, when he got the imperative existence of his life, he realized that life is not simply a dream, it is a service. So instead of dreaming, what he did, I acted, and behold, service was joy. So service itself became the joy. That is the beauty of Pujya Appaji's statement when he said that serving humanity is service to God. See, the supreme joy that one gets in serving society, he cannot get elsewhere. Living for oneself, earning for oneself, living for his own family, earning for his own family, fine. Along with that, if one can dedicate, there are beautiful vision statements which he has prescribed for all the institutions run by his great illustrious institution, that he is also of the opinion that what the Christianity firmly believes in. See, serving hands are better than praying lips. So now we are coming to the crux of today's topic: service, service, service. Living through service, breathing through service, existence through service. The ordinary people exist, great people live through their service. Therefore, Appaji heralded the message that service to humanity is service to God. Of course, if you look at the world history, there are different organizations across the globe. After all, society is very broad. It comprises many components. It may be a family, it may be a community, it may be a street, it may be a village, it may be a state, it may be a country, it may be a globe. See, society, of course, in sociological term, can be defined as a group of people living in a particular place at a particular time and satiating their basic needs. Now the question comes, after all, what is service? What is social service? Social service is nothing but rendering service without any remuneration, without any expectation, without any monetary gains. This is what is the concept in the 20th and 21st century. Because these social organizations started blooming, though they were existing even earlier also, but when the World War I, World War II took place, many organizations were born to address the needs of lakhs of soldiers, lakhs of widows, lakhs of wounded soldiers, lakhs of destitutes, lakhs of parents who were rendered helpless. This is how the concept started taking a shape at a corporate level, you can say, at an organizational level, you can say. Though in a country like India, it existed in every family in its own form, which you may not be able to express through some phraseology, but an Indian is definitely made up of the spirit of this social service. Therefore, the social service can be comprehended including all aspects. It may be welfare of the old aged, it may be the welfare of youth, it may be the welfare of the destitutes, it may be the welfare of the downtrodden, it may be the welfare of the differently abled, it may be the welfare of the sick, it may be taking care of the health of different elements, it may be adopting the people, it may be adoption of communities, it may be helping the society through the community activities like supply of water, drinking water supply, or responding at a time of distress. Right now we are going through the 21st century, the greatest catastrophe across the globe, the pandemic called the COVID-19. And even the World Health Organization and the world body started various activities for undertaking such social service activities. Even in 1936, Ratan Tata started the Tata Foundation School in order to prepare the band of youths who can serve the country, the society. Now, having broadly placing ourselves in the history, you can say, in our own way, we can realize what then is the contribution of His Holiness Pujya Appaji. Perhaps when we come to Appaji, we have to start it from the great saint of his land, Lord Srinivaseshwara. And I don't want to repeat all those thoughts which have been already said, whose services started through his Dasoha concept, through his Mahadasoha, as yoga became Purna Yoga in Aurobindo. So Dasoha concept became Mahadasoha in the life of Pujya Dodappa Appaji, Pujya Dr. Syanavasappa Appaji. But I have been able to see how this concept has been extended in his institutions, in his activities, in his city, in this part of the state. let us bear in our mind that this is a pilgrimage center. In this pilgrimage center, you can see thousands of people visiting this pilgrimage center every day. This is a spiritual land, lived, trodden by great Saint Lord Sambhasveshwara. Therefore, people feel blessed to visit this place, to have the darshan of Lord Sambhasveshwara and get the divine power at least charged in their life spirit. With that motto, with that objective, the devotees come over here. Then, Puja Posse has got many hands. It is not merely that he has got 2 hands, he has got thousands of hands in this organization. Each employee working in his organization is an extended arm of His Holiness Puja Posse. What Appaji aspires for, all these people are meant in his organization to fulfill the aspirations of the people of this land. Obviously, more than 2,000 to 3,000 employees working in this great organization are the extended hands of His Holiness. And all the citizens, all the devotees who come here are the extended personalities of His Holiness. Because when they come over here, when they witness all the social services rendered in this great organization, have been replicated, have been extended in their own villages, in their own fields, in their own communities, among their own clan. Therefore, I simply do not see Appaji in isolated form. The Appaji's personality has been extended through all these people, those who visit this place, and carry the great message of Dasabha. And I have already mentioned that deliberately I am trying to not to enter into the spiritual aspect, deliberately not entering into his exclusion aspect, because many specialized lectures have been rendered and are likely to be rendered. Therefore, consciously I am trying to speak the other aspects of his social service. And I can say that Puja Appaji has done a tremendous social service through different activities in different spheres of life. If we look, I can make a survey of all these activities carried on so far. I can just list out the activities he has carried on. See, he has been, to be more precise, to be more contextual, I would say, or I would remind all of you, those who have witnessed the wonderful activities taken by Mate Dakshayani Avasi in the recent COVID-19, with the divine blessings of Appaji and inspiration. She went on serving all the needy people, many destitutes, many orphans, many people who were rendered helpless, many who were rendered unemployed, were all given free food. Special rotis were prepared for the distribution among the people. It is not merely the human beings, even the animals were fed here. That is the beauty of the social service. That's the highest kind of service that the organization has done in recent days. Though it has been wonderfully doing for more than 200 years, and its lifeline, the lifeline of this great organization is its service in form of Dasabha. And it was carried on throughout the city of Gulbarga and in other places nearby and surrounding this great city. This is one which I would like to quote. And even if we look back, and then 1 or 2 months ago, His Holiness Puja Appaji sent a check for sum of ₹1 crore to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund for the flood affected, for the famine, or wherever the people are affected. Puja Pass. It is not one year affair. He has been continuously doing it for all these years. I'm just putting this year's latest statement and statistics through our Honorable Secretary, Sri Basuraj Deshmukh sir, who specially went to the Chief Minister, Honorable Sri Yediyurappa ji, to Bangalore and handed over a check for rupees 1 crore. And it's not a mere amount that matters. Look at the kind of genuine concern that is brought for his fellow human beings. Those who are suffering, those who are in pains, those who are in helpless condition have been taken care of by Puja Appaji. And this has been going on regularly. Even it's not only flood affected, even when Latur earthquake took place, even during these years also, I have a privilege to witness his activities, rendering service to the victims who were greatly affected by earthquake at Latur, Khilaris, to be more specific. And of course, Anna Santarpane has been going on for all these years relentlessly in Dasoha Mahamane. And remember, it is not merely that is going on in Dasoha Mahamane. The same is replicated in almost thousands of temples built in the name of Lord Shanabasveshwara. Thousands of temples have been built in thousands of villages, and these activities have been going on across the state, even in the neighboring states also. See, that is the strength of true Dasa. That is the might of true dedication to the human upliftment. Therefore, through these activities, his social service has been relentless, has been going on without any hiccups. And I would like to extend I would like to bring to the kind information of the audience that for the last 1 year, His Holiness Puja Appaji has started rendering the same service by extending it to the students and even the general public. It is shifted. It is not shifted. It has been there has been a beautiful, well-built kitchen and a dining hall in the campus of Sarveshwara colleges. And prasada has been given to every student who visits there at a subsidized rate of ₹5. A student who is hungry, who comes to the college, who is hungry, who cannot concentrate his attention towards the lectures, has got a beautiful chance of fulfilling his basic needs like food by visiting the Prasada Nilaya just by paying ₹5. A sumptuous, happy, contented life of a student can be seen once he comes out from this dining hall. So the Prasada Nilaya is doing a wonderful job. It's not only for the students, even employees, teachers, office staff, even general public also, a few of them do come there. So this is how his social existence is relevant in the lives of all the people, those who come to our organization. And when we look at the other aspects of his contribution, there are more number of activities undertaken by our organization. I will give you another example how he has been very novel and innovative in giving the service to society in almost all the institutions of His Holiness Puja Appaji. We have ensured there is an insurance ensured in the lives of all the students. See, every student, if something goes wrong with the life of my own college, a student can get 50,000 rupees instantly because at the time of admission, we ensure their life with Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC. Therefore, see, the new concepts of serving the society have emerged through this great soul of Apasi. And it is not only that, even those people who come to him seeking employment, number of differently able people have been given employment by him. Otherwise, they could have lived a very, very miserable life. It is because of his meaningful existence through these people the service has been beautified. Even our Professor Suraj, who is a professor of Kannada, recently brought a lady who was immediately given a job by His Holiness Puja Apasi. He cannot he cannot say no to such destitute people, whoever comes to his shelter seeking his protection. And he is almost like we keep, whenever we listen to his Holiness Pujapas, he keeps telling that 21st century is a century of philanthropists. This is what I have found in him. He is very conscious when he makes this statement. 21st century is a century of philanthropists. He said that. Look at the Warren Buffett who takes just 1 or 2% of his earnings from Berkshire company which he owns, or Bill Gates, Bill Gates Foundation, or our own Indian Azim Premji, or all corporate organizations which have been making immense contribution to society. And Infosys Foundation. See, all these, of course, they have got social corporate responsibility, CSR, corporate social responsibility, CSR they have got, therefore they do it. But there are great people who are standing tall at the international level. So Puja Apasi heralds that 21st century is a philanthropist century. This is what he said once when I was listening to him. Therefore, we can see the splinter groups across the globe which have been indulging in doing such great services. So, Apasi, as I told you earlier, times without number, has imbibed the great virtues of Lord Sankaraswara and Puja Dodaba Apasi, who stood for all their lifetime at the service of society. And the tenets which Ashoka did practice what Buddha preached, Apasi reminds us. Especially, he is a great lover of Buddha. Buddha became just because of his buddhi. So, his tenets, which were in principle practiced by Buddha, even the social service, especially on religious lines, started in India. So, you can see what Buddha did there has been done here at micro level by His Holiness Puja Apasi. Therefore, even you can see, even in Greece, Rome, we can see how the social service concept began right from the days of Socrates. But as I told you that deliberately I am trying to avoid heavily taking the doses from spiritual component, as there are many ways which Apasi has been meaningfully engaging himself in the service of society, barring education, dasoha, and this. See, another great service Puja Apasi has done in recent days is establishment of his hospital, spa. See, he is of the firm opinion that India stands for, see, the herbal medicine. We are pioneers as far as herbal medicine is concerned, and obviously Ayurveda is our strength. Therefore, Apasi, having firm faith, started this Ayurveda hospital, and the Apaspa Center today caters to the needs of several people at a very affordable cost. If you want to get the same treatment in a metropolitan city, you have to pay lakhs of rupees. But that is not the case here. You can just simply go and get yourself treated at a very throwaway prices. That's what is social service as far as my perception is concerned. And even when we look at the number of people who have come to this samsthan over a period of time, I've seen at least hundreds of destitutes being given life in this organization by a person. Many have been adopted, many are working here, many are getting jobs in different sectors of his home organization, right from the kitchen to the fields. In every sector, he has given employment to those who come seeking. So, this is how